Imagine the crown placed on Anne Boleyn's head in 1533. Every eye in the court is watching, waiting for her to fall. In the heart of her triumph, danger and betrayal wait in silence. Why did the most clever woman in England become the target of a royal conspiracy? Who truly pulled the strings that led Anne Boleyn to the scaffold? London, June 1st, 1533. Anne Boleyn enters the city as queen, not by birth, but by force of will. Her barge glides past the tower, velvet on her shoulders, a golden crown bright under English sun. Music, banners, and a watching crowd mark the break from England's old order. Henry VIII has defied Rome, crowned Anne his lawful wife, and declared a new beginning for the nation. Her triumph is not hers alone. Anne's father, Thomas Boleyn, becomes Earl of Wiltshire. Her brother George, Lord Rochford. Her push for English Bibles and monastic reforms stirs resentment. Monasteries and old nobility sense threat. The Howards, sidelined, seethe quietly. The Seymours, especially Jane's family, watch for a chance. Even Anne's uncle, the Duke of Norfolk, keeps his true intentions behind a public smile. Allies of Catherine of Aragon glare from the abbey, fueling fresh rumors. In the crowd, Mary Boleyn feels pride mixed with dread, sensing the family's fortunes balance on a knife's edge. Anne's rise is the result of years in the French court. There, she learned music, French, and the tactics of survival among rivals. Her return to England made her a force, witty, defiant, impossible to ignore. For every friend gained, an enemy waited. The palace now teems with ambition and suspicion. Old loyalties fray, new alliances form in whispers. The Howards retreat. The Seymours approach Henry. Reformers rally behind Anne, and rivals lay plans. At every gathering, careful smiles mask distrust. Tension crackles beneath the pageantry. Even as Anne's crown shines, the court's applause hides calculation. The seeds of betrayal are planted here, among family, rivals, and friends. Power has changed hands, but trust is already broken. Inside the palace, every glance is a calculation. Nobles weigh their futures in Anne's new order. The Howards watch with quiet anger. The Seymours draw closer to Henry, sensing opportunity for Jane. Lady Rochford, once Anne's ally, now measures her words. Anne's sharp wit, foreign manners, and push for reform turn admiration into silent fury. English Bibles and new learning win her reformers but earn her enemies among the old guard. As months pass, Henry's faith in Anne falters. Each miscarriage and political stumble erodes his patience. Courtiers drift away, forging new alliances. Even loyal friends grow cautious. Cromwell, the king's chief minister, sees his chance. Patient and ruthless, he transforms from ally to Anne's deadliest opponent. The fracture becomes public on April 2nd, 1536. Anne's almoner, John Skip, delivers a sermon in court, likening Cromwell to Haman, the biblical villain. The warning is not missed. Cromwell, realizing the threat, retreats to Stepney and begins spinning a web. He gathers rumors, courts Anne's enemies, and quietly prepares the case that will destroy her. Every corner of court becomes a battlefield. The Howards whisper in shadowed halls. The Seymours offer Jane as an alternative queen. Even minor nobles shift allegiances, fearing they could be next. Gossip spreads faster than truth. Public opinion grows uneasy. People remember Anne's meteoric rise, but now question how quickly fortune can change. Anne's brilliance and boldness have made her a symbol of change and a magnet for danger. In these halls, the faintest rumor can ruin a queen. As winter settles over London, the palace holds its breath, waiting for the first open accusation and the end of Anne's reign. Anne's world shrinks as hope for an heir slips away. On January 29, 1536, she miscarries a boy, the son who might have secured her future. The news spreads fast. In the palace, whispers turn the loss into a warning from God. Henry is shaken and humiliated. His disappointment is public. Former supporters see Anne's luck falter and look to the king for their next move. Anne refuses to disappear. She fills her household with English psalters, urging her ladies to read scripture. She supports reformers like William Latimer and encourages debate, her voice firm, though her circle thins. Scholars and poets still seek her patronage, but each visit is quieter, each smile more cautious. The court grows colder. Nobles drift from Anne, offering only polite words and careful distance. Rival factions close in. The Seymours draw nearer to Henry. The Howards whisper about Anne's temper. Lady Rochford, once trusted, now keeps her distance. Every gesture by Anne is watched, every word weighed. A stray remark, a sigh, or a tear can become a weapon. Anne, once the court's center, now walks alone, trailed by suspicion. Her ladies avoid her gaze, unsure where loyalty ends and danger begins. Behind closed doors, notes fly between rivals, reporting Anne's moods and health. Trust is gone. The palace is tense, waiting for something, anything to break. Outside Anne's rooms, the machinery of accusation begins to move. Cromwell quietly gathers rumors and allies, ready to use Anne's isolation against her. In the halls, even Mary Boleyn is seen less often. The Boleyn name now a warning, not an advantage. Every alliance Anne once counted on is tested. In this new court, silence is safety, and every misstep brings her closer to the edge. The tide has turned. Her enemies are circling. The Queen is more alone than ever. Thomas Cromwell seizes his moment. Once Anne's ally, he now moves with ruthless purpose, serving the king's shifting will. He watches as Anne's reforms break old power. Her support for English Bibles and her challenge to tradition make her strong but isolated. Henry's patience is fading. The court senses it. Former supporters slip away. The Seymours, seeing their chance, whisper in the shadows. The Howards measure every word. Lady Rochford, once trusted, stands back. By April 1536, Cromwell puts his plan in motion. Secret councils meet. Confessions are forced. The web widens to trap not just Anne, but friends like Henry Norris, Mark Smeaton, Francis Weston, William Brereton, and even George Boleyn. The charge of incest shocks the court. Evidence is thin, but ambition is strong. Nobles who once smiled now testify. Cromwell gathers rumors, allies, and enemies with cold precision. Anne is arrested on May 2nd. She faces charges of adultery, incest, and treason. Henry barely looks at her. His silence speaks more than any verdict. On May 15th, Anne and George stand trial before the Duke of Norfolk and a jury of peers. Anne keeps her composure, answering every accusation with calm clarity. Chroniclers record her dignity. Sir William Kingston notes her dark humor about the executioner's skill. The verdict is set before the trial even begins. The court watches as the Queen's fate is sealed by those who once called her friend. Outside, London holds its breath. Inside, The machinery of power crushes everything in its path. Anne Boleyn's fall is no accident. It is a masterpiece of conspiracy. In the King's Hall of the Tower of London, Anne Boleyn stands before her uncle, the Duke of Norfolk, and a jury of enemies. The charges are read: adultery with 5 men, incest with her brother George, plotting the king's death. Each word is meant to strip her of dignity and power. Anne answers every accusation with poise. Charles Wriothesley notes her wise replies, while Sir William Kingston records her dark humor about her executioner. Mark Smeaton confesses under pressure, but Norris, Weston, Brereton, and George Boleyn refuse. The verdict comes swiftly. Anne and George are found guilty. The sentence is pronounced. Henry chooses beheading over burning. A swordsman from Calais is summoned. On May 19, 1536, Anne is led to the scaffold north of the White Tower. She meets her fate with calm, even joking about her little neck. The French sword falls. Her brother and the other men have already died. These executions unfold inside the tower, but the city hums with rumor and fear. In the aftermath, Anne's daughter Elizabeth is declared illegitimate. The court reels. Nobles who once vied for Anne's favor now shift their loyalty. The Boleyn name is purged from the palace. Mary Boleyn survives, but the family's rise is over. Mary Boleyn, once part of the court's most ambitious family, slips into obscurity. Her survival is not triumph, but a silent witness to how quickly power can vanish. The Boleyn name becomes a warning, not a legacy. Anne's fall redraws the lines of power in England. Her story does not end with the sword. The trial and execution of a queen shakes the nation and echoes through history, fueling questions about guilt, innocence, and who truly pulled the strings. In the end, Anne Boleyn's fall was not the ruin of a queen. It was the birth of a legend. It was the result of ruthless political games, ambition, and betrayal in a world that forgave nothing. Betrayed by friends and enemies alike, she lost everything except her legacy. Her only surviving child was her daughter, Elizabeth. One day, Elizabeth would ascend to rule an empire greater than her mother's enemies could ever imagine. Elizabeth's path to the throne began here. England's final break with Rome was sealed. Old alliances vanished. The Boleyn name was erased from history's stage, and a new order emerged from the void. To this day, historians still debate who truly pulled the strings. The only confession was that of Mark Smeaton, a musician of humble birth, who, under torture, admitted to crimes he never committed. He and others, caught in the storm of politics, became pawns in a ruthless game where power, not truth, decided who would live and who would die. Was Anne a victim of her own ambition, or a pawn sacrificed for the sake of someone else's power? Do you believe Anne was truly destroyed by Cromwell, by Henry, or by something even darker behind the throne? If this story left you questioning, subscribe to Lore and Legends and join the debate below. Your voice keeps history alive.